into a heated vat filled with ketchup, mustard, relish, and special seasonings. The journey from raw beef to sauce-drenched hamburger took just over 90 seconds, meaning the Instabroiler oven could crank out about 400 burgers an hour. For Keith and Matthew, who were concerned more about volume and efficiency than producing a quality product, this was the perfect answer to McDonald's speedy service system. They made a deal with the inventor of these Insta machines, where Keith and Matthew would have the rights to use them in a new restaurant they were creating in Florida, which they named Insta Burger. This was the predecessor to what later became Burger King, but initially they used the name Insta Burger instead, as the Insta was a direct reference to the Insta machines that produced the burgers so quickly. So although Burger King today might not like to admit this, there's no doubt that Burger King was heavily inspired by McDonald's. The whole business was started because Keith and Matthew wanted to try and replicate McDonald's fast food burger business. Unfortunately for Keith and Matthew, the Instabroiler oven they bought to mass-produce burgers quickly was nowhere near as good as the intricate system McDonald's had created. In fact, they soon realized the Instabroiler oven broke down almost every few days. It was extremely temperamental, and the quality of burgers it produced wasn't exactly that great either. Ironically though, if the equipment they bought hadn't been faulty, it's quite likely Burger King as we know it today wouldn't exist. But we'll get to that. First though, something strange happened. Construction of the first Instaburger restaurant was underway in Jacksonville in 1953. Keith and Matthew inadvertently found their first franchisee. David Edgerton was actually in the process of becoming a Dairy Queen franchisee when he stumbled across the half-built Instaburger restaurant that was still in progress. David mistakenly thought the unfinished building was going to become a Dairy Queen, and so he stopped in to chat with Keith and Matthew, thinking that just like him, they were about to become owners of their own Dairy Queen. Of course, Keith and Matthew explained that actually they were building a totally new restaurant chain called Instaburger. But sensing an opportunity here, the Instaburger founders began selling David on their burger concept. They showed him a demonstration of their miracle Insta machines they bought that could produce burgers so quickly, and thankfully this was a day where the machine worked perfectly. When David saw this, he was amazed. He left Jacksonville believing he had glimpsed the future of dining out, and he wanted to be a part of that. Shortly after, David backed out of his deal with Dairy Queen and contracted with Keith and Matthew to open an Instaburger store of his own, which would be based in Miami. So before the first ever Instaburger restaurant had even opened, they had a